Hello, grade 11 learners. We are down to our last session for Earth Science grade 11. So we are combining the lessons in week 7 and 8, and we will tackle lessons 13 and 14 today. So lesson 13 and 14 talks about the different types of waste and the waste management system. So defining what waste is. Waste means basically they are unusable or unwanted materials. Everything that we throw away that are unusable already and unwanted already in our homes are considered as waste. So waste is any substance which is discarded after using, or it is also worthless already, defective, or maybe of no use. That's why it's called unusable. So how is waste generated? Okay, so waste is generated from different sources. It could be from households, some commercial buildings or establishments, industrial processes, or maybe from agricultural practices and different others. So waste is generated in either small, medium, or large cities and towns that are about 0.01 kilogram or zero point 0.3 to 0.5 kilogram per day respectively. There are classifications of wastes. So the first two classifications are the biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So we all know what biodegradable waste is. So these are the waste that can be decomposed by the action of microorganisms such as bacteria or fungi, while they are assimilated into the natural environment and can be converted into natural fertilizers. And the second one is non-biodegradable waste. These are the waste that cannot be degraded or decomposed, like plastics, bottles, and old machines, cans, and etc. Another classifications of waste could be the hazardous or non-hazardous. So when we say hazardous waste, these are the substances that are unsafe used by some industrial or commercial, agricultural, or economically and have any of the following properties like ignitability, corrosivity, reactivity, or toxicity. But when we say non-hazardous, these are the substances that are safe to use commercially, industrially, agriculturally, or economically and do not have any of those properties mentioned above. Now, talking about the types of wastes, they can be described as follows. We have the solid waste, liquid, gaseous waste, or maybe animal byproduct, biodegradable, chemical, commercial, biomedical, and the bulky waste. Non-solid waste is always defined as non-liquid, of course. They are non-soluble materials ranging from the municipal garbage to industrial waste that contain complex and sometimes hazardous substances. So they can include the garbages, the rubbish, demolition products, the sewage treatment residue, and the dead animals, and of course the manure and other discarded materials around us. Now the sources of the solid waste are, of course, from the agriculture, farms, the fisheries, and of course from our households and the commercial and industrial establishments. So could be in different forms. Now, like for example, in the household, we have a lot of waste that we actually discarded every day. So what could be the actions to be taken for this? How should we resolve the issue? So we should not throw any solid waste in the neighborhood just anytime, anywhere we want. Okay, you store the food or biodegradable waste, a non-corrosive container with lid, and also you have to separate the dry recyclable waste to be collected in a bin or sack, and you have to separate also the hazardous waste to be disposed of in a specific places notified by a corporation. So whenever, like when we experience the pandemic and we use these some medical waste at home, so do not just throw them together with the other waste we have in our household to avoid contact with also the garbage collector. So let us all be careful with it, with our waste, so we don't know where it goes after we throw them. Then the multi-stored buildings, then commercial complexes and private societies. How should we resolve also the waste management? How do we do the waste management? 1 to 4, same as above. Now we also segregate these waste and provide community bins to hold large quantities of waste. Yeah, for the commercial buildings where people actually pass by and go. People come and go in that place, so there must be some large bins for people to throw their garbage any area of that commercial building or private societies. And then the members of the association to deposit their waste collection before the hour of clearance. So let's all be reminded with that. Slums area, same, you have segregation of waste, and the people should be taught of the wise usage of community bins. Okay, in areas like crowded areas, we often observe how they forgot to manage their waste well. So the community should always have at least one bin for the people to throw. Anywhere they go, they should always see these garbage bins, garbage trash can for them to throw their garbages. And then shops, offices, and institutions, the same segregation of waste, and there must be awareness to be raised in concern of waste disposal in community bins. Like you can put there some posters telling the people where to throw their garbage and the right way of using those. And some hotels and restaurants common in Tagaytay City. Yeah, there are some more restaurants and hotels here. So still, they are advised to manage their waste by segregating them properly. The container should have a capacity of 100 liter in size. Okay, and it should have handles on the sides for easy handling, especially during this pandemic. We don't have to touch the garbage bins anymore. So there are so many types of garbage bins where people will not hold anymore and open it by themselves. Just maybe press or maybe point their hands if it's really technologically based. Then the vegetable or fruit market or our markets in the city. Okay, provide large containers. I think we see them around, especially in Tagaytay. So all we need to do is just to follow where to throw our trash or our waste. Waste should not be disposed of in front of the shops, of course. Okay, like if there is no garbage collector yet, do not just place the garbage there anytime you want. So you have to wait when is the right time to have them outside while waiting for the collector of the garbage. Meat and fish market. Yeah, it's one of the gross areas and very sometimes dirty, because if the waste is not managed properly, this could also pollute the whole area. So waste should not be disposed of in front of the shops. Like when you just buy, there are some, waste there that are already stingy and all, and they have to transfer also the contents of this container into a large container on a day-to-day basis before the hour of clearance. So I like to go to some markets that are very clean and neat, or very clean, and free from bad odor. So street food vendors should also apply this waste management. So not to throw any waste food and just on the road, and then keep the bin or bag to store the waste, like when you are offering food to the customers, so people will really find a place where to throw their garbage or waste after eating. So you have to provide your own garbage beside your store, and then preferably have an arrangement to affix the bin to the vending cart. I like those vendors who are still maintaining the neatness of their food by supplying right way of throwing the garbage. The classification of solid waste are the following. We have the residential, commercial, institutional, municipal, industrial, and agricultural, as already mentioned a while. Now, classification of waste according to their origin, where they came from. There are like waste coming from the municipal. So solid waste that are included in household garbage, construction and demolition debris, sanitation residue, packaging materials. Trade refugees are managed by any municipality. So just like in Tagaytay, the municipality of Tagaytay, so we always have this good management of waste in our area. So it is to maintain the cleanliness of the city, where people actually visit, because this is one of the most visited places even during pandemic. The bikers are always visiting our place every week and or maybe every day. So we have to maintain the cleanliness, and let's help also the municipality of Tagaytay to maintain this clean environment we have around. Next is industrial waste, liquid and solid waste that are generated by manufacturing and processing units of various industries like chemical, petroleum, coal, metal, gas, sanitary and paper, etc. And also we have agricultural waste generated from farming activities. The pesticides that you're using, the container of it, and also herbicides and a lot of things they're using to grow their crops. And this, if they're already unusable, then they become waste already and garbages. So it must be disposed properly, because if not, this could also bring hazardous effect to the neighboring people. Then fishery waste also generated from fishery activities. Then radioactive waste, hazardous one, containing radioactive materials. Usually there are byproducts of nuclear processes. Sometimes industries that are not directly involved in nuclear activities may also produce some radioactive waste, like radioisotopes and chemical sludge. Then e-waste are the electronic waste generated from any modern establishments related to technological use of things that they have around them. They may be described as discarded electrical or electronic devices. Some electronic scrap computers or components such as CRTs, they contain also contaminants such as PVCD, beryllium, or brominated flame retardants. So examples of these are those computer shops, or stores that may have these electronic waste. Then biomedical waste, solid or liquid waste, including containers, intermediate or end products generated during diagnosis, treatment, and research activities of medical sciences. Now, what is this waste management concept? Now, we have the 3 R's already. We have been using this since before. So the 3 R's represent to the reduce, reuse, recycle. Some others already included the other R, which is to refuse buying, and just try to do the 3 R's, the reduce, reuse, or recycle. So this could be followed in managing our waste. That they say a certain study says that if we all do this together, okay, even in our household, we start in our household, then there came a time that we can reduce actually the waste, okay, that we generate every day. Tons and tons of waste that we generate. Remember how Duterte already cleaned the beach, the Manila Bay, and placed a dolomite, white sand beach, because of the dolomite that they use. But as you can see, during typhoon season, rainy season, still they have to clean up those waste that are coming from other areas that will be brought by the water to the beach. So that is why if we reduce the use of these materials, keep buying and throwing them, then probably we can solve one of our environmental issues. Now, what are the solution? Now, in India, they have this solution for, zero waste. Zero waste is applied, like the short-term priorities to protect public health, improve quality of life, and the medium-term priorities, it's for the environmental degradation and better land use, of course. And for the long-term, their goal is to sustain the planet. That is why they are practicing this zero waste. In the Philippines, we are also doing this already. Before, I remember, like, we still use plastics when we go to the market. We are allowed to use plastics, and grocery stores still, allow the customers to use plastics. But now we have these paper bags, okay? And soon we can actually adapt this one, zero waste, wherein no one is already throwing a lot of waste every day, okay, from their household, because everything that we have at home are already reused, okay, and recyclable materials. So, zero waste is a pragmatic and visionary goal that attempts to emulate sustainable development through, yeah, zero waste, encouraging and redesign the manufacturing of products. That is number one thing, because if they provide these products that could be reused and reused every day by the people, then no more waste volume and toxicity that we you throw every day. And then recognize also that one person's trash is another treasure, and all materials are resources or commodities. So we don't know that our trash, when we throw them, they become treasures to other people, because those people who know how to reuse them, recycle them, are having the benefit of it. So the concept of this for the zero waste is to reduce, okay, redesign, repair, reuse, recycle, and regulate. So we hope we can do this. Like when we reduce our waste, is because we know how to redesign. The manufacturers know how to redesign the materials that they are selling us, for us to use them, reuse them. And then repair. If you can repair those things that we feel unusable at home, then can still be used in the future, and maybe by other people, and we don't need to throw them. So they cannot be converted as waste materials. And then reusing of some things that we can still use by just cleaning them or maybe washing them could be the best also example. And the other one is to recycle and to regulate our waste every day. So we have also these methods of disposal. The first one is dumping, next controlled tipping or sanitary landfill, then incineration, composting, manure pits, and burial. So this they are not new to us anymore. So I will introduce them one by one. So dumping is just mainly saying that you are throwing away your garbage, unusable materials that you have at home. So they are the low-lying areas that we have around us where we throw our garbage, and mainly for dry refuses only. And then the method and reclaimed land given by for cultivation. So it could be also where we dump. There is a community that is assigned for us to dump all our unused materials or garbage. So it's common to some places that are still apart, where we can segregate, we can throw our garbage, but to some crowded areas already in the cities, we don't have this already dumping method. Then unsanitary method, yeah, it could be unsanitary because flies go to these waste that we have, and the nuisance dispersed by wind, yeah, pollution through wind, and even pollution through surface water when there is rain. So it scatters already the pollution. So it's unsanitary at the same time. So dumping method is one of the oldest method that we use even in our time before. Now I'm showing you here the picture of controlled tipping or sanitary landfill, wherein they also have to segregate an area in a place where they could they could place all the garbages in one city or one municipality. So it's a satisfactory method in the sense that materials placed in a trench, okay, they are compacted with earth at the end of the working day. They try to cover it, and then the compacted materials are covered and are accomplished once or twice a week at the same time. Some others, so you can only choose whether it's daily basis or maybe weekly basis. But the thing here, if waste are not segregated properly and they're throwing just everything in one place, then that could also destroy the quality of the soil at the same time. So another method, like the trench method, the ramp method, and the area method. So this is refuse is compacted on the exposed surface with excavated earth like 30 centimeter. So here is an example of a trench method where they have to excavate the area 30 meters deeper or maybe 12 to 36 feet wide. and then compacted and covered with excavated earth, and then filled up to 6 feet. So it is estimated 1 acre of land per year for 10,000 population of people. So they will consume like 1 acre of land per year for this kind of method. So this is common to some remote areas, could be, and to some places where there is still a place to have this trench method. Next is the ramp method, suited where the terrain is moderately sloping. The next method is the area method. It is used for filling land depressions and disused quarries and clay pits. So they converted this one. And this is where the refuse is deposited, packed, and consolidated in uniform layers. And each layer is covered with mud cover and at least 12 inches. So to prevent infestation by flies and some rodents that could be unhealthy for the people around. So it prevents also nuisance and smell and dust. So for me, it's also a good idea to have this in an area or in every municipality. And we have the third one, which is incineration. This is the disposal method in which solid organic waste are subjected to combustion so as to convert them into residue and gaseous products. So this process reduces the volume of solid waste to 20 to 30% of the original volume. So this is where land is not available. The some cities, where they don't have the land to apply the area method, the dumping method, and all. So they have this incineration. So the waste materials will undergo the combustible process for it to be converted. So examples of these are the hospital waste also. One common method also of waste management is the composting method. So these are commonly applied in some households and some agriculture areas. So people are wise enough to convert their garbage to fertilizers. So composting is a method of combined disposal of refuse and night soil sludge. So it's where you put here the biodegradable materials and store it for a long period of time and mixing it with soil. And for over time, the microorganisms will work for it. They're gonna convert these, decompose these materials, and this will make already the soil very fertile. So as you can see in our household, maybe before, if you have dumping area, and then normally when it's already covered with garbage or waste, you cover it with soil, and after a long time, grass will grow there naturally, especially when it's not clean. But you can notice that the grass that are grown in that area are really that healthy. They are healthier compared to the grass that are grown in some other areas that don't have this decomposed materials. So this is a very good idea on how we can make natural fertilizers, especially at home when we try to take good care of our flowers. If you are a plantito or plantita, then you can have this by collecting all the biodegradable materials, especially food waste, or the peeling of the vegetables and also fruits. Okay, then you can cover it with soil, and then it will be used maybe after a month or two. It will have a lot of earthworms already, some organisms that are present there to make that soil very fertile and ready for planting different types of plants. So the end product is decomposed. The method is mechanical composting and the vermicomposting and Bangalore method. Next, the manure pits. These are also common in agricultural areas, where most used in rural areas. Digging manure pits is to prevent the refuses grown around the houses. So it's where we put in an area where we put already soil, and then we throw the manure of our animals, different animals that we have in our house. And then for a long period of time, that could also become a good fertilizer. So the garbage kettle dung, the straw, the leaves should be dumped into the manure pits and covered with earth. And then 2 pits will be needed. In 5 to 6 months time, the refuse is converted into manure, which can be returned to the field. So very useful. If we just know how to do it, then we don't have to buy commercial fertilizers to grow our crops, to grow our plants at home, even at home. So in conclusion, I would like to remind you for our topic today, waste management, I would like to leave this quote: when you refuse to reuse, it's the earth you abuse. So remember, it's one way of taking good care of our planet Earth is to make all the resources we have becoming sustainable by means of managing also our waste products. So let us remember how we should manage them by always putting the 3 R's and even the 5 R's in our minds. So let us all recycle, reuse the materials that we can steal, redesign them if it's necessary for them to be usable still in the future and not to be converted as waste. So thank you for being with me during our last session in our discussion in Earth Science Grade 11 lessons, next quarter's lessons. I hope to see you next quarter for another exciting discussions here in our YouTube channel. So I hope you don't forget to subscribe, comment down your name below if you are done watching this video. See you all next time. Bye everyone.